The heavens declare the wonders of your story, and the night stars are hung like the jewels in the crown of your glory. The universe expands, it's exploding with your grace. We've seen light years of love travel through all time and space. Oh, you're higher than the sun. You're the only one who can make our gray skies blue. You're brighter than the stars, more wonderful by far, and we give our praise to you. The planets were formed in the palm of your hand, and you're the center of everything. All you see is yours to command. Oh, you're higher than the sun. You're the only one who can make our gray skies blue. You're brighter than the stars, more wonderful by far, and we give our praise to you. Oh, you're higher than the sun. You're the only one who can make our gray skies blue. You're brighter than the stars, more wonderful by far, and we give our praise to you. The works of your hand, they're more than just for show. They may not use words, but they tell us what they know. That there's one greater, higher up above. And the sun never sets on your love. Oh, you're higher than the sun. You're the only one who can make our gray skies blue. You're brighter than the stars, more wonderful by far, and we give our praise to you. Oh, you're higher than the sun. You're the only one who can make our gray skies blue. You're brighter than the stars, more wonderful by far, and we give our praise to you. Oh, your mercy calls out to me, leading my heart to your door. Oh, my regret, it fades with each step, and that's what your mercy is for. Nothing but kindness is all that you've shown. I call you Father, call me your own. When I have wandered, welcome me home. Oh, with nothing but kindness. know your love is quick to forgive, believes I can be so much more. Oh, in my past, behind me at last, and that's what forgiveness is for. Nothing but kindness is all that you've shown. I call you Father, you call me your own. And when I have wandered, you welcome me home. Oh, with nothing but kindness. There is no mistake I could ever make that could separate your love from me. And every step I take, chains begin to break. Come on, celebrate. Now I am free. Free. Nothing but kindness is all that you've shown. I call you Father, you call me your own. And when I have wandered, you've welcomed me home. Oh, with nothing but kindness. Oh, nothing but kindness. Nothing but kindness. Hey God, we are so grateful that we come to you with all of our stuff, things that we are pretty sure are going to disqualify us from your love or your acceptance or your embrace. And somehow in your grace and mercy, it is not. God, we meet with you here tonight, and I ask that you just embrace us with your love. Remind us, God, just how good you are. Remind us how much you love us tonight.
All my life you have been faithful. have led me through the fire in the darkest night. You were close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I'll be singing of the goodness of God. Oh, your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. When my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Yeah, I'm gonna sing. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God.
I'll tell you, during these times that we sing together at Turn Over, these times that we worship together, I don't know about you, but for me, they're just a really perspective-ladening time where I'm able to see some things really clearly, because as we've sung about the goodness of God, is that I know that we are singing as a community together with everyone in our stories, and part of our stories are things that are going on in our lives that actually would not be in category good. They've been tough things, things that challenge us, things maybe that have disappointed us, and yet what happens when we come together is that we make this determination, don't we? This determination that we are going to give God praise even when things aren't going so hot, believing that God is going to redeem the really tough things in our lives, and He's going to be good through and through to the end. And so I'm just so grateful that we get to do this together, that we get to be a community together and to remind each other of that truth. And so thank you guys so much for being here at Turn Over tonight.
Yeah, and welcome and happy Mother's Day to you all. And before you sit down, why don't you just take a moment? So Mother's Day is one of those times when traditionally moms kind of get to choose what they want
whatever
to do
they
for
want.
the day,
Moms
right?
do,
Yeah.
right?
Somehow
This weekend.
I haven't always gotten that, but anyway, just in case you get a choice to do whatever you want, why don't you turn to someone next to you and share what would you do if you had a day that you could make all your own?
Okay.
Oh, You don't have to wash your hands. I have so much time to myself. Hey, walk away when I'm talking to you. My kids really respect my privacy. When this timer goes off, please turn it off and do not tell me. Thanks. Here, can you use up all my battery? Don't call me when you get there. I don't want to know where you are. It is just too quiet in this car. Okay, we're about to leave for church, so if you're gonna make a huge mess, you better do it now. I don't know, your dad usually does everything around here. All of these people are such good drivers. Eating dinner is completely optional. Hanging up your towel is completely optional. Flushing the toilet is completely optional. Okay, this time, can you smile more like a crazed lunatic? Hey, you want to dig through the fridge for the 5th time today? I'd definitely rather be here than at the beach. I am loving the look of these chips on the floor. I am loving the smell of your feet in my face. I am loving this back pain. Get a massage, ew. No thanks. Take anything you want from my closet and don't worry about putting it back. Don't look at the camera, look over there. If your sister takes your toy, just give her a good smack on the head. Hey, come drink that grape juice in here on the carpet. It's dinner time, everybody come get a snack. Hey, did you know you can wear the same pair of underwear all week long?
All right. Hey, so happy Mother's Day weekend here at Terranova. Let's go ahead and give it up for the moms that are here. You just make our lives so wonderful, and just so grateful that we all get to be together. And if you're here and you're our guest, if you're new, we just wanted to say a special thanks to you for coming out today.
Yes, and those moms can do whatever they want.
They can do whatever they yeah.
So as you came in tonight, you should have received our program for the weekend, or maybe you like to fill it out on the app. But we love everyone every week to work their way back to the back of the program where we have our Connect card for you to fill out, whether you've been here 1 time, 2 times, 1,000,000 times. It's just a great chance just to connect each week that you're here. Sometimes you don't have anything to say, but other times you're like, hey, I've got a prayer request. Our prayer team loves to pray over our prayer requests every week. So take some time during the service to go ahead and fill that out and also see the other things that are going on in the program.
Yeah, now while you're working on that, you can also open up the program and see what's inside, including this flyer that tells you a little bit about Kids Feeding Kids happening next weekend. It's next weekend. We're so excited about it. And there's still time for you to get on board with Kids Feeding Kids. Make sure that you hit the lobby table afterwards to go ahead and sign up. And then you can also give towards Kids Feeding Kids too as well. So this is the last weekend that we're doing this. And then next weekend we kick it all off, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, because we still need some money to get the packages where they need to go.
Yeah, we sure do.
So
Yeah,
take some time
and people. So it's going to be great.
Yeah. So Friday, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also in your program, you should have gotten this brochure about our life groups. So this is our weekend to launch our summer life groups. And we have life groups that launch 3 times a year in fall, in spring, and summer. And summer is usually a little bit different. They meet a little bit less time. And many of them are active. We have walking ones, we have biking ones, we have men's, we have women's, we have couples, we have singles, we have a lot of different life groups. But I know for me, life groups is the place where I take kind of the chance to get to know people a little bit better and also take my faith deeper. So I just encourage everybody to sign up for life group. You can do 1 or 2. And a lot of times people say, hey, it's summer, I'm going to be missing. It's okay. We know it's summer and people are going to miss 1 or 2. But even if you can make just 1 or 2 or a few of them, it is worth it to be able to get to know people just a little bit more in life groups. So take some time and look over the different options. And if you can mark some today, you already know, go ahead and do it, because some of the life groups actually, they fill up, they go fast, right?
Sure do. And we've only really got a few weeks of May to figure out what life you're going to be in,
because they start in
June.
Yeah.
So you got to go fast, all right? It's kind of like triathlons, those really long things, but have you heard of sprint triathlons? This is like the sprint triathlon one, okay? So it goes real quick. So you got to be on the ball.
Yeah, on the ball.
But they can do it.
They can.
So anyway, excited about you guys signing up for a life group. Lots of different groups, as Dana had mentioned, and I'm sure that you will find a group or a couple that will be ideal for you. Well, again, just want to thank you guys so much for being here on this great weekend where we're going to celebrate moms. So let's go ahead and dive into the series, Mama Didn't Raise No Fool.
Want some whiskey in your water, sugar in your tea. biggest party that could ever be. Don't turn on the lights, cause I don't wanna see. Mama told me not to come. Mama told me not to come. That ain't the way that I know. Open up your window, let some air to this room. I think I'm almost choking from the smell of stale perfume.
Oh, man. Well, hey, good evening. Happy Mother's Day weekend. Great to see you here and great to spend a weekend just expressing our gratitude for moms for what they bring to us, and a great weekend to kick off a brand new series. Let's say the title out loud together. You ready? Mama raised no fool. Mama didn't raise no fool, which when you think about it is more like an aspirational title. Kind of a hopeful title, because in truth, and we all know this, mamas, often including our own, have raised a lot of fools over the years, right? Isn't that true? Often despite their best efforts and best wishes. And we've all been that fool. We've all done our share of dumb stuff over the course of our lifetimes, and we could just like pass the mic around and all share our stories and have no lack of good evidence for that. It's like, okay, so there's money that we wish we hadn't spent, and debt that we wish we hadn't accumulated, relationships that we wish we hadn't gotten into, people we wish we hadn't dated. Again, relationships we wish we hadn't blown, deals you wish you'd never done, investments you wish you had never made, moves that you wish maybe you hadn't taken, influences you really wish you hadn't given into, words, golly, lots and lots and lots and lots of words that you wish you had never said, arguments that you wish you had never gotten yourself into. And in some cases, when you think about it, the dumb stuff we've done, the fools that we've been, was like a one-off. Like it was like a night or a weekend. And in many cases, if we're honest, that dumb thing just gets repeated like over and over and over and again in our lives. It's like that dumb thing we do in our marriage, we do it every day. We do it all the time, and we're frustrated because the marriage isn't working the way we want it to work, and we can't even see the thing we do and how we're contributing to it, or that dumb thing that we do with our money. We do it all the time, over and over again. And so there can be whole chapters of our lives, whole seasons of our lives where we really were fools. I mean, we wouldn't like to call ourselves that, but the consequences, and you know this, cascade into our future, and they cascade into other people's future, and always into our children's future. Even if you don't have kids and you're thinking you're going to have them at some point, your decisions right now actually cascade into your future children's lives. And some of you are like, I know, enough, okay, enough already. That's why I'm here. Like, that's why I come here, because I just don't want to be dumb anymore. And so there's good news for all of us. There's actually an entire book, if you will, or a document in the Bible. It's one of the documents that are in the Hebrew scriptures that's actually, the whole thing is just devoted to that. And so today, as we begin this new series, Mama Didn't Raise No Fool, the series is based on this document known as Proverbs, which is packed full of these short, wise, pithy sayings based on the wisdom from Proverbs and from your mama. And in fact, moms are kind of famous for some of the great momisms. I don't know if you've ever seen these lists, like on the Pinterest or something like that. The wise things moms say, the things moms always say, things like eat your vegetables. Any of your moms ever tell you that? My mom did. Wow. Could I have grown up in your house? Say you're sorry. Finish your homework first. Yep, I heard that a lot. A smile is the best makeup. I thought that was just cute. Think good things. If you open it, close it. That's a good one. If you empty it, fill it. Never assume. Always ask. This too shall pass. Life isn't fair. Anybody's mom ever tell them that over and over again? Let's play the quiet game. Mind your manners because I said so. That's why. That's a good one. Don't take that tone with me. Put on a jacket. It's cold outside. I always thought that was weird. So you're cold and I have to wear a jacket? I don't get that. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Heard that one a few times. Don't slouch. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Stand up straight. If your friend's jaw jumped off a bridge or jumped off a cliff, like that was a classic. Don't sweat the small. Don't talk with your mouth full. Make good choices. Think before you speak. I don't know is not an answer. Your face is going to freeze like that. Did anyone ever hope that it would? And of course, there's this one, you'll thank me someday, which my mom said all the time, and I swore under my breath I never would. And then one day I did. For some of those things, I came back and I said, you know what? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so over the course of this series, we're going to be pairing up just a handful of these great momisms, if you will, with some key lessons from this document known as Proverbs. Proverbs, which is this super helpful, profoundly relevant book that's all about making us wise, like how to avoid some of those dumb decisions, some of those really amateur moves that we make in life that just totally trip us up, how to avoid some of those train wrecks, those life-sabotaging things we get ourselves into, and how to live with the kind of brilliance and skill and foresight and honor and integrity that will result in success, like real, true, deep, meaningful success in life. And the key concept in this document, this book called Proverbs, is this idea of wisdom. And this document, since it's written in the Hebrew scriptures, it's written in Hebrew. The Hebrew word for wisdom is chokmah. Let me hear you say chokmah. 1, 2, 3. Chokmah. That's wisdom. And wisdom, or chokmah, in the book of Proverbs is personified as a woman. Of course, like that really needs no explanation, that part. And she's often referred to as Lady Wisdom. And Lady Wisdom is this brilliant teacher. I mean, she's not just smart, she's street smart. Like, she gets it on the ground level. She's savvy, she's perceptive. She has this thing called understanding, which is always paired with wisdom. Understanding means like she gets it. She gets it. She sees the patterns and she can connect the dots. And so life, as a result, isn't really surprising to her at all. She's never thrown by things like, didn't see that coming. I don't know where that came from. She sees everything really clearly, and she sees down the road a really long ways. In other words, not just the first order effects, like cause and effect, if I do this, this might happen, but the second and third and fourth order effects of how things ripple into life and how they can create all outcomes down the road in 10 years and 15 years that I will wish I hadn't created. So she has this prudent, really wise, long view effect and look at life. And get this, she wants to share that with us. Like, thank you very much, Lady Wisdom. Yeah, I want to pass this on to you as well. So here is a little introduction to the Lady of Proverbs. Check it out.
We're going to start by meeting the book of Proverbs, the brilliant young teacher. And she's not just smart, she's smart about everything: work, relationships, sex, spirituality. She has incredible insights, things you wouldn't see on your own.
Yeah, she would be the perfect friend to have around when you need really specific advice.
So what makes her so smart?
Well, Proverbs can see things that most people don't see. She believes that there's an invisible creative force in the universe that can guide people in how they should live. And you can't see it, just like you can't see gravity, but it affects everything that we do.
So what's this force?
Well, in Hebrew, it's called chokhmah, and it usually gets translated into English as wisdom. It's an attribute of God that God used to create the world. And chokhmah has been woven into the fabric of things and how they work. So wherever people are making good or just or wise decisions, they're tapping into chokhmah.
And whenever someone's making a bad decision, they're working against chokhmah.
Right, or as it says in Proverbs chapter 1, the waywardness of fools will destroy them, but the one who listens to wisdom lives in security.
So it's like a moral law of the universe.
Yeah, it's a cause-effect pattern, and no one can escape it. And Proverbs personifies all of this as a woman.
Yeah, Lady Wisdom.
Right, and she roams around the earth, calling out, making herself available to anyone who's willing to listen to her and to learn. Which leads to the second thing Proverbs believes, that anyone can access and interact with wisdom and use it to make a beautiful life for yourself or for others.
You can create with it like a designer.
Yes, in fact, chokhmah in Hebrew isn't simply intellectual knowledge. The word is also used to describe a skilled artisan who excels at their craft, like woodworking or stonemasonry. So you show you possess chokhmah when you put it to work and develop the skill of making a good life.
The skill of making a good life. That's actually what wisdom is all about. Wisdom, Hokmah, here's a working definition for you. It's knowledge, but it's more than knowledge. It's that thing I described as understanding, like seeing how all of the dots connected, plus this idea of shrewdness and discipline and good judgment, and especially this word right here, skill. And so the idea is like maybe you hire an architect because you want to build this large, building, and you hire somebody who understands physics and weight distribution, but also someone who knows the building codes and the civil laws of the community where you live. So like, yeah, I know what it takes to build a building there, and they understand principles of design and beauty and functionality. You would say that architect has Hokmah. They have the ability to pull a lot of things together into something that really works. They've got skill. And so wisdom is the ability to pull all these different concepts of life together and make a really good life. Or you could put it this way, wisdom is know-how. Not just knowledge, but know-how, like know-how that results in highly skilled living. And the reason why Lady Wisdom is so smart, why she gets it and why she gets like everything, is because the book of Proverbs tells us wisdom is actually woven into, if you will, the tapestry, the moral and social and physical fabric of creation, and was so from the very beginning. And so it's like this principle or this law, if you will, kind of like the law of gravity or electromagnetism, or the laws of motion, and it's this idea that there are these patterns of cause and effect. There are patterns of cause and effect that are just the way things are, woven into society and marriage and money and integrity. It's just the way things work. It's the way things are, the way they work well. And like gravity, you can never defy it. There is no Elphaba in Hokmah world. There's no one who defies gravity. You can either acknowledge it and align with it and work with Hokmah, or you can ignore it and actually work against it. But if you ignore and work against gravity or Hokmah, you always lose. You never win, because that's just kind of like the way things are. And Proverbs talks about it all. Talks about sex and friendship and money and neighbors and business and decision-making and parenting and work and spirituality and justice and compassion and wealth and poverty and diligence and conflict and anger and emotional intelligence and speech and integrity. It just talks about everything. And during the series, we're actually going to pull out some key wisdom from a few of these areas and unpack them for us over the next few weeks. Now, the first 9 chapters of Proverbs is like an introduction. 9 chapters worth of an introduction. It's a series of speeches. The idea is it's a dad speaking to his son, but interwoven with these speeches in the first 9 chapters are 4 speeches given by Lady Wisdom. And the longest one is found in Proverbs 8. And the point or the central message of this entire first section of Proverbs is simply this: pursue wisdom. Like, you need to get this, and you need to get a lot of it and get it as quickly as you can. And so, for example, in Proverbs 8, Lady Wisdom is delivering her longest speech. And here's how Proverbs 8 goes: does not wisdom call out? Doesn't understanding raise her voice? Check this out. At the highest point along the way, where the paths meet, at the crossroads, she takes her stand. Beside the gate leading into the city, at the entrance, she is crying out loud. In other words, she's everywhere, and she's readily accessible. The idea of this, like at the highest point and at the paths where they're crossing at the gate, is she's not hiding, she's readily accessible, she's right out in the open, and she wants you to hear her. She's trying to get your attention. And here's her speech as she's crying aloud. She says, "To you, O people, I call out. I raise my voice to all humanity." The idea is this is for everybody. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you believe. This is for everybody. I raise my voice to all humanity. You who are simple, gain prudence. Now, the simple person in the book of Proverbs, and it's a character that we meet a lot, the simple person is just somebody who's naive, and they don't know. Like, they don't know what they don't know. They don't even know that they don't know. They're just simple. But then there's another character, someone who's called foolish. Now, the foolish person, unlike the simple person, is somebody who kind of does know and does it anyway. And honestly, we have all been both of those, right? There are times we've done dumb stuff and we just didn't know. We didn't know what we didn't know. And there's times we kind of did know and kind of did it anyway, right? And to both of these characters, she's saying, hey, gain prudence, gain this capacity to look down the road and consider situations before running in, gain foresight and discernment. Set your hearts on it. Listen to me. I got some trustworthy things to say. I got some knowledge and truth bombs to drop on you. I open my lips and I speak what is right. And here's why you should listen to her. She says, my mouth speaks what's true. That's what I only speak. It's just truth, my friends. My lips detest wickedness. All the words of my mouth are just. They're just. None of them are crooked or perverse. To the discerning, that is, to somebody who's able to see, who's able to perceive, someone who's perceptive, all of my words, they'll see that all of them are right. They are upright to those who have found knowledge, true and just and right. And then she says this, so choose my instruction instead of silver. Choose my instruction. Choose knowledge rather than the best, the finest gold. For wisdom is actually more precious than rubies, and nothing you desire compares with her. And the idea throughout the book of Proverbs is that everything else you desire, like, what do you really want in life? Everything else you desire, like success, true success, the kind of success that matters, respect, significance, influence. I just wish people would listen to me. Deep relationships, lasting, long-standing relationships, security, joy, health, and long life. They all flow out of having chokmah. So nothing else, no other individual thing will ever compare to it. So pursue wisdom, like get wisdom and get it as quickly as you can. And then she continues her speech and she's talking about how she's the source of insight and influence and real power, and that she was there when God created everything, just rejoicing over all that he had made, especially rejoicing over human beings. And then she ends her speech saying, now then, children, listen to me. My children, listen to me. Blessed are those who keep my paths. Now, the word blessed means it's kind of like happy, but it's more than happy. It speaks to well-being. It speaks to a good life. It's like aloha and shalom and serenity now all rolled up into one. It's just like, oh man, my life is really good right now. Blessed are those who actually keep my ways, who do what I'm telling them to do, who listen to my instruction and be wise. Do not disregard it. Do not push it away. Do not ignore it. Blessed are those, she says it again, are those who listen to me. And then I love this last little moment. She says, blessed are those who listen to me, watching daily at my doors, waiting at my doorway. And the picture here is somebody like I'm waking up early, or you're waking up early and you're going to her house and it's not even light outside and you're just waiting at her door. You're just waiting there. Like, is she going to come out? Is she going to say anything? I'm so attentive. I'm so hungry. Like, what's she going to do? What's she going to say to me? I gotta see her. I gotta hear everything she says. It's this picture of somebody who just wants everything that they can get from Lady Wisdom. And that's really the message of Proverbs. Arrange your life around the wholehearted pursuit of wisdom. That's kind of the message of Proverbs. Arrange your life around the wholehearted pursuit of wisdom, because everything you want, everything you really want in life will come from her. Clear your schedule, change your priorities, show up at her house early in the morning. It's like, put this on the top of your to-do list. You're sitting down in the morning, you got your cup of coffee and you got your to-do list. You're like, what am I going to do today? Oh, number one, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get some wisdom. That's my top, that's whatever else I do today, I want to make sure that whatever else I do, I get some wisdom. And so I want to challenge you over the next few weeks, this spring, to get wisdom. And one way you might be able to do that is to just hit this series over the next 4 weeks after this week, the next 4 weeks. And maybe you usually come on Saturday night, but you got something on Saturday night, so you come on Sunday or the other way around, and you come just like, okay, I need to learn some wisdom. I'm into this. I'm reading these things. I'm getting something. I'm trying to apply it to my life. And then take it further and actually read the book of Proverbs. Over the next 5 weeks, there are 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs, so it's like a month's worth of reading. And if you don't have a Bible, we would love to just give you one. As you walk out the doors here on your way out to get cheesecake later, just take a quick turn to the left and you'll see some Bibles right there. Just grab one. Grab it and take it home. Find Proverbs in the table of contents and just start reading a chapter a day through the book of Proverbs. And that's one option. Start with Proverbs 1 today or tomorrow and read the first chapter, and the next day day, read the second. Or another option that a lot of people do is they do like the day of the month plan. And the day of the month plan works like this, because there's 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs. So there's a chapter for every day of the week. And so what day of the week is today? What's today? What's today? It's Saturday. The number of the day is the 11th, right? Is that what it is? No, the 10th. It's the 11th. Okay, so I should have looked that up before I said this. So it's the 11th. So today, if you're reading the day of the month plan, you would read chapter 11. That's really good. And then tomorrow you'd read chapter 12. And then Monday you forget and you get too busy. So Tuesday you read chapter 14. See, you guys are on it. You're going to be good at this. Pick a plan, but do this here. Over the next few weeks, just read the book of Proverbs. Read it like maybe that's the only thing you read, and you just soak yourself in it. And we have a couple of resources that we'd like to pass on to you. So if you would like some resources while you do this, just write Proverbs resources somewhere on your Connect card. We'll send those out to you this week. But why would you do this? Why would you put this at the top of your to-do list? Why is it worth an all-out obsession, like hanging at her doorway waiting for her to come out? And the answer is because everything you really desire, everything you really want, the ability to make and live a really good life, a well-lived life, all flows out of Chokmah. It all flows out of having wisdom. Here's how she ends her speech. For those who find me find, what's that word? Life. You want life? You need wisdom. Everything you want in life will flow from me. Those who find me find life and receive favor from the Lord. And those who fail to find me, though I am at the crossroads and the gate and the high point of the city, I'm everywhere. But if you fail to find me, you harm yourself. You harm yourself, and those who hate me, who ignore me and push me away, they love death. And so here's the challenge. Here's the challenge to us, though. Wisdom does not come naturally. And that's part of the problem. This is why we have to work so hard to get it. We are not born with it. We're not born with wisdom. And that's why, again and again, the book encourages us to go out and get it. Because the other option, and there is another option of pursuing wisdom that's found throughout the book of Proverbs. The other option is this. Option one, get wisdom. Option two, be a fool. That's the other option. And the book of Proverbs talks about it all the time. And unfortunately, that does come natural. Unfortunately, we are actually born with that. It's in Freudian terms, it's the id. It's that part of us that's just kind of dumb, that inner fool. In fact, Proverbs 22 says it this way: foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child. We're born with it. And it's so true. We talked about this recently. Nobody ever has to teach you how to be stupid. Nobody ever has to teach you how to do really dumb things and then do them again even after you know they're dumb. How to be short-sighted, how to make irresponsible choices, how to say the wrong things, how to spend money you don't have on stuff you don't need, how to lose a job, how to blow up your marriage. Nobody ever has to teach you that stuff. It all just comes naturally because we're born with foolishness, but we have to learn wisdom. And so throughout Proverbs, these two options are set side by side again and again. The wise person and the fool, wisdom and foolishness, set side by side again. And I want to share just a few examples of what this looks like. And these aren't just any examples. These are like quintessential examples of what foolishness is and what wisdom is, the difference between those two. For example, the wise person, the wise look at their paths. Fools lie to themselves. So here's the proverb, Proverb 14:8. The wisdom of the prudent, the wise person, is to give thought to their ways, but the folly of fools is deception. And here's what this proverb is saying. There is something in life, in fact, one of the most dominant motifs in the book of Proverbs is the idea of the principle of the path. We talk about that a lot around here. The principle of the path is, I'm on this road, and if I stay on this road, I'm going to end up there. Not necessarily tomorrow, not even next year, but that's where this road goes. And if I don't want to end up there, I need to get on a different road, right? And so wise people understand like the second and third and fourth order effects and the ripple effect of their decisions in their lives and other people's lives. And so what are they looking at? They're looking down their road. They're considering their ways. They're giving thought to their ways. But here's the juxtaposition. The folly of fools is deception. Their very foolishness deceives them, like they lie to themselves. And the scary implication to this is they see their ways but don't want to see them. And we've all been there too. Like, I know, but I don't want to know. I'm pretending not to know. I don't actually want to ask because I don't want to hear the answer. And that is a dangerous place to be. And we would call that person a what? A fool. And we've all been there. Here's another one. Wise people seek out advice all the time. Fools, they know it all. They already know it all. The way of the fool seems right to them. The wise person listens to advice. That wise people readily acknowledge, I might be wrong. I might be wrong. They have what's called epistemological humility. I don't know what I don't know. I might not know. I might be wrong. And so they eat up other people's learnings and experiences and failures and knowledge for breakfast. It's like, you've done that and learned that, then I want to learn from you so I don't have to make that mistake myself. But fools say, I already know. I got this. I got them. I know, Mom. I know. I got this. And they have a story that makes it right to them. That's crazy, right? And we would call that person a what? A fool. Here's one last one. And this, again, just a quintessential example of the difference between the two. Wise people respond to correction. Ooh, I hate correction, but wise people respond to it. The fool responds to pain. So here's the proverb. A single rebuke, a single correction does more for a person of understanding than 100 lashes on the back of a fool. There's a saying in 12-step circles, some of you may have heard this before, that people don't change when they see the light. They change when they feel the, what is it, do you know? The pain, the heat is what it's often said. It's the same thing. Yeah, they change when they feel the pain. They change when they feel the heat. Now, that is not a compliment. That's not a compliment. That it is not because we're so smart that we only change when we feel the heat, but unfortunately, it is true. And so often, we don't even change when we feel the pain. We don't even change when it hurts, and you know people who have a pain tolerance that is so high, you're like, oh my goodness, I guess you're going to do that again. Now, quick disclaimer. The fool in Proverbs is not a low IQ person. The fool in Proverbs is not like this uneducated person, often quite the opposite. They consider themselves very clever. Very clever because they know how to beat the system and they got the cheat code and they're going to game it. And I know that's how it normally turns out, but it's not going to happen to me. They got the shortcut, the plan, the story, and their cleverness, because they're so clever, often leads them to ruin, like financial and relational and soul ruin. And even then, fools don't learn. One of my favorite proverbs goes like this. As a dog returns to its vomit. Okay, pause, picture it. You got it? You got it? So a fool repeats its folly. It's like, maybe this is going to taste better going down the second time. Maybe, I know it didn't really agree with me the first time, but this time it'll be different. You'll see. And that's what we do, right? And so we go from dumb to dumber, and we just dig the hole deeper, and we don't even realize what we're doing because the way of the fool seems right to them. The stories, the spins that we have just make it like it's not really our fault. And so we know that financially things aren't really working out for us, but it is not our fault. It has nothing to do with the decisions we're making. We know our kids aren't doing really well right now, but we don't make the connection between how they're doing and the single greatest influence in your child's life, which is not social media, and it's not the music they're listening to or the games they're playing. It is you. Parents are the single most influential presence or in their children's life, and not just when they're little, but all the way through. And we don't draw that connection. We know the marriage is cold and distant. We know our romantic relationships always seem to end up the same way. And it's like, and the common denominator of all of those relationships would be, but we cannot see it. And so even when we feel pain, and we do, we often don't change, and we often don't even know how to, and we all have that. We all have that going on. We all have an inner fool, and that's why the plea of Lady Wisdom is so passionate. She's like, get wisdom. Arrange your life around this. It will not come quickly. It will not come in a day. Arrange your life around the wholehearted pursuit of wisdom. Now, I mentioned Proverbs 1 through 9 is an introduction. What follows this introduction are hundreds and hundreds of sayings, most of them coming in 2 lines, like pairs of thoughts, rhyming ideas, if you will, and observations that are just describing patterns on dozens and dozens of topics. And we're going to unpack 4 of those topics over the next 4 weeks. But the book ends in such a beautiful way. The book ends with a case study in wisdom, a poetic portrait of what an archetypal, truly wise person looks like. Someone who's taken all of this wisdom, all of the hundreds of proverbs that you've been marinating on as you've been reading the book, they've taken it all about relationships and speech and hard work and business and foresight and planning and understanding and money. They've taken all of that and processed it through their own way, their own lives in such a way that it has become just the natural everyday expression of everything they do, of their lives. And they're just so wise. They're just so incredibly wise. And the poem is actually in the genre of an ancient hero hymn. So hero hymns in the ancient world were hymns or songs or poems that were sung to celebrate the victory of soldiers on the battlefield, or often of a particular soul or a hero. And so this person is great and valiant and mighty, and this is this song about how triumphant they are. Only this particular poem, this hero hymn, is a hero hymn of the wise, and it's a woman, of course. Hardly needs any explanation. She is the epitome of Lady Wisdom. She's got it all going on. She's like this model of someone who takes all of God's wisdom and translates that into every facet of their lives, making these great decisions every single day at work and at home and in family and community. It's like, this is what the whole book looks like. You've been reading all these Proverbs. You've been thinking about them. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like in a life. Now, part of the genre of hero hymns is hyperbole. They are generally way overstated. They crank it up to 11, so be prepared, because this hero is a superhero of wisdom. This person is not actually like realistic. It's idealistic, if you will. Now, if you've ever heard, and we're about to read it, if you've ever heard or read this poem, if you've ever heard it before and read it as like, this is what women should be like, or this is what a wife should be like, this seemingly unattainable, even oppressive ideal, and maybe it has even come off, and I know it has for some, as this patriarchal gender stereotype, this oppressive kind of thing. If you've ever heard or read it that way, it might be really helpful to hear it again for the first time, because the so-called Proverbs 31 woman is what she's sometimes called. She is not just the ideal wife and mother and mom. She is the ideal wise person. She's not just the ideal wise woman. She's the ideal wise person. She lives with Chokmah, this person who brings all the ideas of Proverbs together. And if you're a guy who's ever heard this poem and thought to yourself, I wish I had a wife who looked like that, today I want you to hear this poem and think to yourself, I wish my wife had a husband that looked like that. Okay, so you with me? Now, one more thing about this poem, this hero hymn, before we jump in. It's an acrostic. It's an alphabet poem, if you will. It goes from A to Z only in the Hebrew letters of the alphabet, where each line actually begins with the successive letters of the Hebrew alphabet. There are 22 letters in their alphabet, so there are 22 lines. But that also means that the Hebrew alphabet dictates the flow of the poem, not the individual themes. And so you're going to see it bounces back and forth and in and out. It's like, why are they going back and forth like that? It's because it's an acrostic. It's an alphabet poem. So you're with me? Let's check her out, because she's pretty awesome. Proverbs 31, a wife of noble character. Who can find? She is worth far more than rubies. Now, if you're paying attention, and the writer of Proverbs thinks you have been, this is how wisdom is always described in the book. Who will find it? And if you find it, it is more valuable than rubies. The heart of her husband trusts her. It's a beautiful line. In other words, she is not just worthy of trust, she's worthy of people's hearts. She's worthy of their deepest trust. And he will have, this is a great line, he will have no lack of plunder. And again, it's a hero hymn. This is not a gender stereotype. She's out getting stuff and bringing it back, right? She brings him, this is such a great thought, she brings him good and never harm all the days of her life. Imagine being able to say that about the other people in your life that you only bring them good. You never bring them harm. The ripple of your effect of your life is only good always in their lives. I only wish, right? Then it says, she selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. So wool and flax meaning making clothes, right? And she's got this hard working ethic. This is a huge part of Chokmah, this hard work, but it's not just hard work, it's enthusiastic, and she's got skill to bring to it too. In fact, she's like a merchant ship. She's like merchant ships bringing food from afar. So she's got business Chokmah. She's got business skills. She's industrious. She's savvy. She gets up while it's still night, not a lazy bone in her body. And again, laziness and industriousness is a huge part of the book of Proverbs. And so this is just bringing it all together. She provides food for her household. Now, in the ancient world, your household isn't just your family. It's not just you and your kids. It's actually your employees, your servants. It's everybody. So lots of people can count on her because she is reliable. She gets it done, including her, and of course that's why it echoes this with female servants. So she provides for others who can count on her. She considers a field, so she's out there surveying land, real estate Chokmah, right? And she buys it, and she not only buys it, she makes a profit from it, and she plants a vineyard. And again, with the business acumen and the financial wisdom and stewardship and decision-making that she brings together to be able to do this, she girds her loins with strength. It's an ancient Hebrew way of saying she wraps herself up in strength. Her arms are powerful. Once again, not a gender stereotyping hero hymn at all. She's like strong. Do not mess with this woman because she's got Chokmah. She sees that her trading is profitable. There's that thought again. So she's shrewd. She's prudent. She knows how to get things done. And her lamp does not go out at night. Back to the industrious, diligent. In her hands, she holds the distaff and grasps the spindle with her fingers. And this is a picture of weaving fabric and making clothes. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. So she's compassionate and she's generous, which are deep, deep, deep principles in the document of Proverbs. Those are deep principles of wisdom, deep principles of living a really good life, because a good life is not just about you and yours. It's about everybody else as well. And people who live really good lives, they know that that's true, and that's who she is. And this is one of my favorite lines. When it snows, she has no fear for her household. So snow, and here's what you need to know about this line in the poem. Snow would be rare where she's from. That's not something that happens hardly at all. She's from the hillsides of Israel somewhere. And so this isn't an inevitability. This isn't something that happens all the time and she should be ready. She has enough foresight to not only be prepared for things that are inevitable, she's prepared for things that are possible. She's thinking that far down the road, and I don't want the people who rely on me to be without anything. And she doesn't fear because she's planned for it. She's already ready. And all of her household, this is great, which again includes servants and employees. They're not just well-clothed, they're clothed in scarlet, meaning she pays her employees very well. People who work for her do very well with their own lives as well, because people who live the good life of Chokmah make other people's lives better as well. And then she says she makes covering for her bed. She herself is clothed in fine linen and purple, which would jump out to the original readers because purple was for really rich people, and she's clearly not really rich because she works with her hands, and royals don't work with their hands, and everybody knows that. But she is financially solid because she works hard and she works smart and she's a good steward and she just has Chokmah. She's got her life together. Her husband, here's a great line. Her husband is respected at the city gate. Now, the city gate in the ancient world was where respected leaders of the city or the town would all get together and make decisions on civil matters and discuss things like that. And her husband has a seat in that circle. He's respected there, a seat among the elders of the land. And so the idea of this is family honor. It's not just her own honor, it's family honor. And one of the themes of Proverbs is that our decisions and our character ripples into other people's lives as well, especially the lives of the people who are closest to us. The way we carry ourselves is not just about us. Doing what we want with our own lives doesn't just affect us. And so the effect of her life on the closest to her is always good. In other words, she's like elevating everyone else around her because the ripple effect of her life is positive on everyone. That's what this line is about. She makes, it goes on with something that's been mentioned a few times, makes linen garments and sells them. Again, not only industrious, but profitable and that kind of thing. She's clothed with strength and honor. That's what she walks around clothed in, strength and honor or dignity. And I love this line. She can laugh at the days to come. Let me hear you laugh like a quick ha ha ha, like a ha ha ha. Let's do that together. 1, 2, 3. Ha ha ha. She looks at the future and just goes, ha ha ha. Like, I got this. Now, she doesn't laugh at the future. The future, by the way, the days to come are always uncertain. The future is always uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But she doesn't laugh at the future because she's, naive or like Pollyannish, and she just thinks everything's going to go well. Remember the snow story. Like, she's already thinking about what could happen. And so she's this non-anxious presence. And not only non-anxious, joyful. Joyful because she is so secure, and she's so secure because that's what happens when people live with Chokmah. It just brings peace and security to their lives. She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. Now, speech and how we talk is a major, major theme throughout the book of Proverbs. Wise people exude wisdom. So people respect her advice. They lean into her. They want to hear what she might have to say about something. She watches over the affairs of her household. And the picture here is of like a watchman or a watchtower, a lookout, if you will. And so it speaks to her vigilance. She's just up, like looking out and surveying. And she does not eat the bread of idleness. So she's aware. She's paying attention to the things that are happening and the things that might happen. Her children, in this famous line, her children arise and call her blessed. Her husband also praises her. In other words, she's praised. This is so huge. She's praised by the people who know her best. Now, see, it's one thing for the people who at work to think you're all that. It's another thing for the people out in the neighborhood or on the soccer field to think you're all that. But when the people who really know you, when the people who know who you are behind the scenes, when the people who know who you are when you drop your guard, when they praise you, the people we live with, that speaks to character, unguarded character, right? And they say to her, hey, there's a lot of noble ladies out there. There's a lot of women who do a lot of things, a lot of noble things, but you are super noble. You surpass them all. It's a hero hymn, right? Then this is a great line. Charm is deceptive, and it sure can be, can't it? It can just be just like you can charm someone and just be lying through your teeth. Beauty is fleeting. Wish it weren't, but it kind of is. But a woman who fears the Lord. I love this. The last thing that's said about her is, again, one of the major, major themes of the book of Proverbs. In fact, the fear of the Lord refers to this deep reverence and humility. It's not being afraid of God. It has nothing to do with terror or being afraid of Him. It's this deep reverence and humility that God is God and I am not, that allows me to enjoy my place in that spectrum and leads to a submission of my life to His wisdom. And again, this is a major theme of the book of Proverbs. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. Like day one of wisdom school is, okay, it starts here, the fear of the Lord. And so this is the very last thing that's said about her, as if this is the thing that undergirds everything else that's really great about her life. Therefore, it closes, honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. And so this poem, this Hebrew poem, it just pulls it all together. The entire book of Proverbs, there's vigilance and foresight and preparation and hard work and business intelligence and emotional intelligence and financial intelligence and stewardship and industriousness. And there's family and marriage and community and generosity and trustworthiness and peace and security and joy and trust and respect because you're worthy of it. There's loyalty and faithfulness, and underneath it all is this deep, deep reverence for God, all of which, as it turns out, blesses and builds up and elevates the other people around her. In other words, her skill in making a good life makes everybody else's lives better too. She's got Chokmah. She's got mad Chokmah. I mean, she's got Chokmah in spades, the complete package from A to Z. So there you go. There you go. That's what a wise person looks like. That's what a person who lives with wisdom looks like. And of course it's a woman. What else would we make it? Because it's Lady Wisdom personified for all of us. And the idea is that as we read through and just soak ourselves in the Proverbs, we get to the end and we read that description and we close the book and just go, wow. I mean, it's a superwoman. It's hyperbole, right? But like, wow, I aspire to that. I may never be there, but that is what a really, really good life would look like, filtering my own life, my own opportunities, my own responsibilities, my own spheres of influence through the grid of a person who lives that well, with that much wisdom. It's the perfect capstone and the perfect exclamation point, if you will, to a document that's devoted to one major idea: get wisdom. Get it as soon as you can, get as much of it as you can, arrange your life around the wholehearted pursuit of wisdom. So how about it? How about it? What will you do to begin to get wisdom? I hope that you will take the challenge. I hope that you'll join us over the course of this series. I hope that you'll begin reading the book of Proverbs. And then next weekend, we're going to pick it up right there with part 2 as we unpack one of these many key ideas and try to bring it into our lives. But let me close by praying for us. Heavenly Father, I just want to say thank you that you love us so much that you really want us to get this. You want us to get wisdom. You want us to integrate these big, brilliant ideas into the very fabric of our lives so that we would live lives that go along the grain of how you've made things to be instead of against the grain, that we would develop the skills of making a good life. I just want to thank you for loving us enough that you really, really want us to get this no matter who we are or what we believe or where we're from. And so I pray for myself, I pray for all of us as a community that over the next few weeks, we would take Lady Wisdom's challenge really seriously, take it to ourselves, and we would lean in and learn all the wisdom that we can. And I pray that in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, hey, thank you so much once again for joining us here on a Mother's Day weekend. As you're heading out, I want to remind you to take some of the things that are in this program. Maybe you started signing up for a life group. They're starting in just a few weeks. You can drop this life group brochure in the offering baskets on your way out, or you can take it home, look at it a little bit more, scan the QR code, and you can sign up at home. And you can drop these Connect cards in the offering basket as well. And if you wanted some of those Proverbs resources, just write that somewhere on the Connect card and we'll get that to you. You can let us know who you are. We'd love to get to know you. Throw that in there. And of course, you can drop your offering envelopes in there. And if you're part of wanting to give to Kids Feeding Kids, you can just designate part of that to KFK or Kids Feeding Kids, somewhere on that. As we get ready next weekend, it's it. Like next weekend, Friday night and Saturday, we get together and we're going to be out in the parking lot packaging 100,000 meals and having a great time doing it Friday night or Saturday morning. And I hope you'll come back and join us for that. And then, of course, next Saturday and Sunday for part 2 of our series, Mama Didn't Raise No Fool. There is cheesecake on the patio outside as you're heading out, and there's a Kids Feeding Kids table to stop off at as well. God bless you guys. We'll see you out there, and we'll see you back next weekend for the new series, for the part 2.